What is going on? Back at Dave the Confused. Thank you so much for being here. This is a really haunting, sad story that piqued my interest when I saw a video about it online, and I watched almost like a mini documentary on this story and on this gentleman, and he was a fascinating guy that came to a very, very tragic end, which we're going to talk about. Timothy Treadwell was known as the Grizzly Man. He was an animal researcher that focused entirely on bears and would live amongst bears in Alaska for like a week or two at a time. And he found himself very familiar and almost family-like with these bears. And he felt very comfortable being up close with them, but yet he was knowledgeable enough to give them their space, not aggravate them. You know, like, he was very, very good at acting around bears, and that was maybe a mistake. So Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend were filming for his upcoming documentary in 2003, and it was based on him basically becoming part of this grizzly family that he had camped out for a certain amount of days, very close to essentially where these bears were living. And it also happened to be very close to a salmon stream, which, if anyone knows anything about bears, they tell you never camp close to a stream where there's salmon, because that's where bears congregate and they fight each other over food. So on October 5th, 2003, somebody talked to Timothy on his satellite phone, and they said to him, "We're sending in a helicopter on October 6th to come get you and the girlfriend." And he was like, "Yeah, I think I got enough footage from my documentary. We'll see how it goes." Well, when they arrived on October 5th, they found his entire campsite to be completely mauled and shredded. And they found the remains of Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend. And he was clearly mauled, killed, and eaten alive by grizzly bears. The same grizzly bears he had been recording for over a week. So chances are the bears on those videotapes are the bears that led to Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend's deaths. Their bodies were taken back and all of their gear were taken back. One of the worst parts about this story is when people came to pick up all of Timothy's belongings and body, 2 grizzly bears came back to the campsite to feed again on the carcasses of Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend. Both bears were shot and killed, and upon an autopsy of both of them, human remains were found in both bears. Timothy Treadwell had a very specific video camera that would turn on from motion. It was a motion sensor camera that he would use to film the bears from close up and far away. He left the lens cap on the camera, but with the jostling of him being attacked by a bear, the camera turned on, and it recorded the audio of Timothy Treadwell getting killed by a grizzly bear. I've listened to some of the audio, and it is blood-curdling. It is, to this day, one of the worst things I've ever heard. And I wasn't even looking for it. I was watching a documentary on this, and the guy who made the documentary just threw the audio in there, no warning whatsoever. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to put the audio in this video out of kind of respect, and just, I don't want to put you guys through that. But if you want to look up the audio, it is available on the internet. I do not suggest it. I do not suggest it. I said go look up the audio to like the hellhole in Russia, which is fine. You can listen to that and it's not going to haunt your dreams. This will. It will straight up be in your memory forever. So please be very careful if you choose to look up that audio. And I'm serious. Be very careful. The initial audio videotape and the only recording of it was given to Timothy Treadwell's ex-wife, who held on to the recording for years before essentially making it public. I never would have made this tape public if I was in that circumstance. I would have burned the tape. I don't think it ever should have hit the internet. I don't think it ever should have been made public, but it wasn't my choice to make. But please be forewarned, it's straight awful. Maybe one of the worst things you ever heard. With that in mind, that's my video. Timothy Treadwell gave us a really good lesson to learn. Leave bears alone, right? Bears are big and vicious and eat you alive. Like most, giant animals kill their prey first and then eat them. Bears don't need to do that because they're basically the biggest things ever. So they eat you alive and they start with like fleshy parts of you, like your butt, your thighs, your stomach. It's never a quick experience, right, with a bear. So don't do that. Leave bears alone. Lesson learned. I'm Dave, still confused. At least our dogs are bears or werewolves, but definitely not bears.